Rick and Morty is turning into one of the most popular shows on TV, and it's all thanks to the crazy minds of creators Justin Roiland and Dan Harmon. There's a lot of awesome stuff going on in this show, but it all stems from behind the scenes. That's why today we're looking at the craziest behind the scenes stories from Rick and Morty. Before we jump in, if you're new to the channel, hitting that subscribe button and ringing the bell will let you stay up to date with our videos. If you didn't know, Justin Roiland voices both Rick and Morty and a bunch of other characters. He's by far the guy that does the most voice acting on the show. Part of the whole concept of this show that he wanted to make was that he'd fell in love with these Rick and Morty voices he'd been doing for years. So much so that he was using them in other projects.
Mitchell, I'm trying to do science in the basement.
That's why it was a shocker when they were pitching the show to Adult Swim and the creative director Mike Lazo apparently told them he thought the Morty character was annoying and that they should probably cast someone to voice Morty instead of Justin. Reluctantly, they auditioned a bunch of people and narrowed it down to 3, and Lazo didn't like any of them. Finally, after some deeper conversations with Lazo, they got to the root of the problem, that it wasn't so much the voice that was the problem, but more that the original Morty character they had written was too much of a punching bag and just kind of someone that would mess up and then Rick would yell at. And like Mike Lazo said in an interview, you can do about 5 minutes of that before it gets annoying. So now we have a Morty that's able to stand up for himself sometimes. Rick is an alcoholic. As lots of drama teachers might tell you, acting drunk is surprisingly one of the most challenging things to do in a convincing way. So for a scene when Rick was supposed to be especially drunk, Dan Harmon told Justin Roiland it might be a good idea to method act, as in drink a bunch of tequila and see what happens. Justin proceeded to get solidly wasted while doing the voiceover and apparently became pretty hard to handle. The performance ended up sounding great, and yeah, drunk.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
But associate producer Sydney Ryan said it was the least productive record day they ever had. The Origins of Rick and Morty is an old animated web series by Justin Roiland called The Real Animated Adventures of Doc and Marty. It was a crude parody of Back to the Future, made as kind of a rebellious joke after he got a cease and desist letter from Bill Cosby's lawyers over another show of his called House of Cosby's. Doc and Marty was pretty nuts and involved Marty doing something disgusting to Doc that I won't mention here. You can look it up if you want to, but also maybe don't. One of the noticeable things about Doc and Marty's style was that pretty much every time you saw the characters, they would change shape. And that's what Justin Roiland wanted to bring to Rick and Morty when it got greenlit. He pushed for that kind of crazy animation style that had the characters changing shapes constantly. But apparently the studio told him, yeah, that's not really possible. It would take the animators a crazy amount of time to pull off something like that, and also, what would that mean for merchandise? Like, what version of Rick's face do you get printed on a t-shirt? Here's a little insight into the kind of people that run the show at Rick and Morty. In a behind-the-scenes video following the creators of the show, it's revealed that one of Justin Roiland's pastimes was, and maybe still is, standing at the window of the writer's room with a pair of binoculars and secretly watching people down on the street. He said he did this for about 6 months before coming to the realization that
you can see right into the writer's room. It's clear as day.
And that's it for today's quick list. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comment section if you've heard of any behind the scenes stories about Rick and Morty. If you're watching this on the Screen Rant Facebook page, you can hit that link to jump over to YouTube for more Rick and Morty videos. Thanks for watching.